Hi folks! In this video I'm going to show how I made these adorable backpacks. Keep watching! So as we get started, I'll show you what you'll need to make your backpack. You have 2 pieces of fabric that are 16 by 18. Because of the size, I cut these by hand with my rotary cutter. If you're doing this in Design Space, you're going to do it a little different. So as mentioned, if you want to use Design Space to cut the fabric, you will need to do a little different because your maximum width on your cutting mat is 11.5 inches. So I've set up this example in 2 tones so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The center panel for your bag will be 11 by 18, and then you're going to join 2 panels, one on each side. They are 3 by 18 each. You'll sew right along those long seams to join them together to create your 16 inches wide. I think it would be really cute if you did them in a different fabric, so you have a different color panels running up the sides of your bag, or do them all the same color as you wish. I've also added the 6 by 9 piece for the pocket, and on that you'll see that I've done fabric pen draw lines. This is only to use as a guide when you press your pocket for installation. So let's move on. You have a 6 by 9 inch cut of fabric to make the pocket on the front of your backpack. So with this, I've pressed a 1/4 inch all the way around. At the top, I've pressed a 1/4 inch and folded down about 1 inch and pressed again so that I have a nice finish at the top of the pocket. I'm going to sew straight along this top before I pin it to the fabric. And I'm making a child's backpack. So the straps I'm using, I've cut from ribbon, and I'm going to use 56 inches long for the strap. If you're making this for an adult, you're going to want to use 67 inches, should be long enough. But for a child, I'm using 56 inches for the straps. So I'm going to sew my starting seam at the top of this pocket, and then we'll continue. Okay, so I've sewn the seam across the top of my pocket. I hope that you can see this. I'm sewing purple on purple, so it might be a little difficult to see, but I've sewn across the top of the pocket. I'm going to take away the fabric I'm using for the back of the bag. We don't need that yet. And I want to line my pocket up. I don't want to put the pocket too close to the top because it is a drawstring bag, so when you pull it tight, the top will be gathered, and if your pocket is too high, it'll be scrunched into the top of the bag. So I'm going to go for placing it a little lower down. I finger pressed the center of the pocket to line it up. Also, I have this pressed down the center of my fabric. So I'm just going to line it up that way, pin it in place, and sew the 2 sides and the bottom. So go ahead and do that. It's not very big, it doesn't need a lot of pins. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew the 2 sides and across the bottom, and I'll be back and we'll continue on from there. Okay, so I've installed my pocket, just sewing along the edge, across the bottom and up the other side, and at both tops I've backstitched a few stitches to reinforce the top of the pocket so we don't have it coming loose. So we're going to lay it with the right side up and take our back fabric and lay it right side down. And we're going to start assembling the bag. We have some lint here. Apologies. Okay, so we'll line that all up. Nice and straight. And now you're going to take your ruler and a fabric pen. We're going to measure 2 inches down from the top, and we're just going to give ourselves a little mark, and then measure another inch down and give ourselves a little mark. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Two inches down and mark, and then an inch down from there and mark again. So we're going to sew 2 inches down, stop, skip that 1 inch, and then sew about 3/4 of the way down to the bottom. Don't go all the way to the bottom because you need to install your straps in that opening. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Sew 2 inches down, skip the inch, and sew about 3/4 of the way down on this side also. So I'm going to get that done. Once I've sewn, I'm going to press those seams open, and I'll be back to show you how to install the straps. Okay, so you can see that I've sewn how I described it. I've sewn down the 2 inches, skipped an inch, and then continued on from there and left open at the bottom where we're going to install our straps. And then I've pressed my seams flat. I should have mentioned that if you cut with a pinking shears, you won't get any fraying. So once I'm done, I'll trim this up with pinking shears. So when I press my seams flat on the side, I also press down at the top 1/4 to 1/2 inch, whatever you prefer. And then you're going to fold again at the top of your opening, fold down all the way around the top. Do it nice and evenly. We're going to press that. That is where we'll have our openings for our straps to go in. I'm going to press that, and I'm going to sew around the top to keep it in place, and I'll be back. Okay, so you can see that I've sewn all the way around the top, leaving the channels open for my drawstrings, of course, on both sides. You want to be sure that you don't sew over those. You need them open. So we're going to install our straps. As mentioned, I'm doing a child's backpack, so I've cut 56 inches. But for what I've seen, an adult backpack, you'd want to go to 67 inches for your straps. But you also might want to just pin them in at first and try it to see if it's a good length for you before you cut your cord or your ribbon. So we're going to start by, we'll try not to twist this up too much. We're just going to put it through to the good side, inside the bag. Take one end, and we're going to leave that one end out about an inch. That looks like it. We're going to pin that in place so it doesn't move. I always have thread all over me. Okay. So we want to check to make sure this hasn't twisted. We're going to attach a pin to the end of it. And the same way I'm sure you've seen many times before, we're just going to pin the end and we're going to pull it through our channel. So you're going to go one side and feed it through. This takes a little while. And continue through the second side. Go right through the channel. Don't stop. Go right through because you want to end up back where you started. Keep going. And back where you started and pull through. You probably have to fuss with it a little to get all the ribbon through or all the cord through. And you want to bring this piece with the pin down to the bottom. Undo your pin, your needle, straight pin. Undo your straight pin. And bring this one down to meet with the original. Line them up. Try to make sure nothing is twisted. Okay. And you're just going to have them out about an inch. Try to keep them even. And pin. And you're going to be sewing along there to keep them in place. Straighten that out. Try to even out the cord or the ribbon, whatever it is you're using. Okay. And we're going to repeat the same thing, but on the opposite side, going in the opposite direction. So we're going to feed one end through to the bottom. Bring it out the side. Try to keep it even with the original side. Going to bring it out about an inch. And pin it in place while we manipulate the rest of the cord or ribbon. Try to keep it flat. Attach your pin and feed it through the opposite side that you did before. So we start on the opposite side. And we feed it all the way through, again going right through to the other side. There's our pin. Keep going and bring it all the way around again. You always have to fuss a bit with the cords to make sure that they're straight and even, but it all works out in the end. And we're going to come through here where we started again. There we go. Pull our ribbon. I say ribbon because I'm using ribbon, but if you're using cord or whatever you're using, pull it through, bring it down to the bottom to meet the other one. Take off our pin, take out our straight pin, and we're going to line these up. Hopefully they're not twisted. There we go. Put these out about an inch. Straight pin. And there we go. So now we're going to finish sewing along, double stitch, maybe back and forth a few times over the straps to make sure they're secure. Stitch along the bottom and back over this side, again back and forth across the straps to make sure they're secure. And I'll be back to show you how that looks. We'll trim off the excess ribbon and our bag will be finished. Okay, so I've finished sewing the bottom of the bag. I've gone back and forth several times over where the strap comes out and trimmed off the excess on both sides. I've started trimming along the bottom of the bag with my pinking shears to help with fraying. You could also finish it with a zigzag stitch all the way around, or if you have a serger and you want to go that route, you could do that too. And we'll turn this right side out and have a look at how it is. It will need a good press. Make your corners nice and straight. There we go. Cute. I don't know if you can see the true color in the video. It's actually pink with purple pocket and purple straps. We'll close it up. And there you have it. An easy backpack. I think they're adorable. My grandchildren will love these. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll find it easy to make some. Please post pictures so I can see them if you do. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.